5 reference tests. Every chosen one must pass. Let me just give you a few examples of attitudes of reference that Jesus tried to teach the disciples in Matthew chapter 10. The first attitude, we find it in verse 9 and 10. So Jesus told them that do not take gold, nor silver, nor purses. Why? Trust that God will provide for you. You know, it says that God is able to supply all our needs according to his riches in glory. So he was trying to teach them that trust in God, that God is able to feed you when you are doing his job. Trust that God is able to provide for your needs as you do his job. Another attitude of reference that Jesus was teaching them, we find it in verse 20. He told them, For the Holy Spirit will give you what to speak. He was trying to teach them the attitude of reliance on the Holy Spirit, dependence on the Holy Spirit. So instead of going to that mission with your rehearsed script, with your rehearsed words, trust that the Holy Spirit is going to give you utterance. Act 1:8, you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be my effective witnesses. Trust that the Holy Spirit is able to make you an effective witness. For instance, in Acts chapter 2, we see how the Holy Spirit enabled the very Peter that was so afraid to give this powerful message until 3,000 men gave them their lives to Christ that day. Another attitude of reference that Jesus was trying to teach them, we see it in verse 28. He told them, fear not those that can kill only the body. Only fear God, who is able to kill both the body and the soul. So he was teaching them the attitude of the fear of God. You know, Proverbs 8:13 tells us that the fear of God is to hate that which is evil. Another attitude of reference that Jesus tried to teach them was the attitude of honoring spiritual authority, where he told them that whoever receives you has received me, and so leave them a blessing. In other words, you are men under authority. You honor the authority in a chosen one because they are not acting alone. They are representing the kingdom of heaven. Another attitude of reference Jesus was trying to teach them is depending on God for a reward. You know, in verse 42, he told them that if you persevere and drink of this cup, the Lord will give you a reward. So he was teaching them that God is always watching every act of obedience, every act of sacrifice, every act of faithfulness, and he always rewards.